Shalom, Mr. First and foremost, I do give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Al-Shah, Bashem, Kakadash. That one is the apostles, and also great millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel, Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father in ancient Hebrew, Bashem is the name of Yahweh Shai, is the name of the Beyond Son, background lesson. And as you see in the title, the next big one, question mark, and going to be going to this pestilence that is been, really in the talks as of late. It's been seen within the news, articles coming out of how the bird flu is now being pretty much able to be spread and transmitted to humans. And as you've been seeing these past couple of years, these devils have been alluding to something coming and how it could be a whole lot worse than what took place back in 2020. And you already saw with the the damage that 19 caused, back then. You saw with the lockdowns, now many people lost their jobs. A lot of, family-owned businesses were shut down, and, a lot of people went homeless. So you could see, how this possibly could be, pretty much the next big thing. Because as we've been, prophesying and saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, these lockdowns were coming back. Something worse than 19 is coming, and this possibly, could be it. Because you know how this devil operates, the way he moves, the way he does things that you see within the labs. Esau Edom is cooking up a storm. Dealing with his concoctions and, the combining of DNA, gene splicing, all this stuff, man. And I see right here, a man in Mexico died with one form of bird flu, but U.S. officials remained focused on another. And before that, you saw, many articles coming out of how, cows are now pretty much being affected with it, chickens, and you can see how that would be a problem, dealing with the food. Now, there's a huge amounts of, and I'm going to just be careful on this word right here. You know how Esau even is when it comes to these, particular topics. But there's a huge amounts, I'm going to just say bird. I'm going to say bird. Huge amounts of, or I should say bird pestilence, something to that effect. I'm going to just say pestilence, whatever the case may be. Huge amounts of, I'm going to say bird V, found in raw milk of infected cows. And once again, you can see how this would be a heavy problem when it comes to the food. And you already see the inflation, many problems regarding the food already. And I believe a couple of days ago there was a fire that broke out to one of the chicken farms, which I believe is one of the the biggest farms. See if I can find that real quick. Chicken farm fire. I think it's this one right here. The Illinois farm housing 1 million chickens catches fire. Millions of chickens killed after fire breaks out on Illinois farm, and these things don't happen, by chance. And really, it's Esau Edom, at work, causing these particular problems, pretty much forcing you to rely on him. As you've also been seeing, the things they're doing within these labs, dealing with the lab-grown chicken, 3D printed meat, so they could use it also to, push that out within these stores. But go back to this article right here. Huge amounts of bird V found in raw milk of infected cows. As new findings point to the milking process, a possible route of avian influenza spread between cows and from cow to human. And once you see what Esau is doing with the splicing of DNA, where now these diseases that were only pretty much subjected to animals are now being transmitted to humans, people. See what if I can find a little bit more, or see what we can get out of this. This is a H5N1 V can persist for hours and spatter droplets of milk from infected cows. It really should be staying away from milk in general, but the milk from cows infected with bird contains astronomical numbers of viral particles which can survive for hours in splattered milk. Yada yada yada. But you get the point. I just search bird, and the other word, cows. And you've been seeing these past couple months. CDC reports second human case of bird tied to dairy cow outbreak. So you already see, the steps these devils are really already taking. Now that they're going to use this to really fearmonger, to get people on board with this next concoction that they're going to be pushing out, this so-called solution. Because you see how fast these devils will come out with new juices. When usually they'll take, years and years, or months and months to, come up with. But as soon as you see something happens, really in a few weeks, boom, a new concoction, a new potion, you know. But let's get this other article right here. And I believe there's many other articles you can find right here dealing with the chickens. Let's see, a new bird death, which I'm not saying this word right here, the other word right here. Just trying to once again be super careful. But a new bird death is making experts uneasy. And you also saw a similar situation regarding the zombie deer, and how they were scared that would be transmitted to humans. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would, become a thing. Knowing Esau Edom, and really just it's the Lord, plaguing this place, man, and using Esau Edom to do these particular things. As a threat of bird, I almost said full word, bird, I'm gonna say bird V. The human appears to be growing as outbreaks of, I'm gonna say H5, a dangerous strain of avian influenza, continue to affect cows in the U.S., Canada, South America, Europe, and Asia. The World Health Organization on June, especially I forgot this photo that I screenshotted from one of the brothers' channels, was WHO member states have agreed to start arresting and prosecuting any citizen who opposes the bird V. And you also saw what happened back in 2020 and how, crazy people were to those that didn't take that concoction. So now you already see these devils are making more plays, making moves, and really planning ahead ultimately. But it says WHO member states have agreed to start arresting and prosecuting anyone who opposes the bird V. And now you're gonna have these devils really start to push that fear to where you see it's within the animals, the chickens, the cows, and now it's within your food. So if you don't take this, it's gonna be on to you now and your whole family and this and that. You know how this devil moves, man. So many people are gonna try to seek out that so-called solution, which Esau Edom's gonna come out with, and they're already planning this to how people are gonna react, because once again back in 2020 that was just a test, that was a trial run. But most countries have already signed the international health treaty. This means an unelected group of criminals whose leaders are considered terrorists will be dictating your government decisions. So hey, you ultimately know what's coming. More lockdowns, restrictions, mandates, and it wasn't to be a whole lot worse than what took place back then. A few years back. And you already saw how the damage the 19 caused. And really that's what Esau Edom was wanting to. Really push out these, family-owned businesses, really once again forcing these people to rely upon him, to swoop in as a so-called hero. Let's see. So on June 5th, the first ever case of human infection with H5, a different strain of avian. I'm going to say avian. The infection was fatal. And you also see how these devils will, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll kind of blow these things out of proportion to make it seem worse than it really is, as they once again did with the 19. How they fabricated certain things within the news where people were in body bags, and there's one scene where a person was in a body bag and he just pretty much stood up. Esau even literally caught red-handed. But second Ezra 15, 11 through 12. Let's get these scripts at hand. I don't want to start the intro too long. But I'll bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And the Lord is smiting this place with plagues and pestilence as the Lord did back then in ancient Egypt. But this right here is not speaking of ancient Egypt, because it says right here, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. As we're in modern day Egypt, as you get in Revelations, how America, aka Babylon the Great, is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So I want to show you what this is speaking of. And will destroy all the land thereof. Verse 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation shall be smitten with a plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And the Lord is plaguing this place. That you saw recently dealing with the trillions of cicadas that emerged. Now you're seeing situations happening with this pestilence that's going about. Dealing with the, I'm going to say bird. Don't want to say the full word. And you can see how this will possibly be the next big one. Going back to the title. And as I mentioned in the beginning lesson, these devils have been alluding to something, coming, something bigger, something worse. 2nd Ezra 15 and 49. But it says, I'll send plagues upon thee, a 441 in the top left, Lord's will. I'll send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy household with destruction and death. And I already put up a few articles, how it's pretty much already within a lot of these animals, and you can see how there'll be a problem regarding the food within these supermarkets, and that will mean less food, prices will skyrocket. I mean, come on. And that will also lead to people fighting over food. I mean, come on. I'll send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste their house with destruction and death. It's finna get out of here, man. And these devils are really starting to, make these moves. Get ready to tighten that grip even more. And really, I should get Revelation 12 and 12 also. Because Esau, Edom's hand is most definitely in this. As you get 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, how we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. But Revelation 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that do in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the sea, for the devils come not to you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. He knows he's running out of time. So I see him trying to rush and implement his plans as fast as possible. Now let's jump back up top, which we already got, 2nd 15. So the 2 Corinthians 11, as I briefly mentioned earlier. But lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We know how the devil operates. We know how he moves. And we're warning you through the Spirit and Prophet Yahweh Shemashai, to be wary, to be focused, and to stay away from whatever Esau is about to do. As we warned you back in 2020 to stay away from what was being pushed out, dealing with the what. But people still disregarded. They went and took it. Man, look what happened to a lot of those people, man. I'm not gonna really speak on it because that's how I got my first channel taken down for going too much into it. But it says, warrant to the decree and right to decrees, and that right griefs in which they have prescribed. And you already saw within that photo that I pulled up how they're gonna be. Let's see, what would it say? Says prosecuting any citizen. To start arresting and prosecuting any citizen who opposes the Burby. So people will be thrown into jail, maybe even fined. And you also saw how bad it was back then, dealing with the masks. People were wanting to wear them, and people were put in handcuffs. You saw the mandates, the restrictions that were in place, the green pass, to even travel. These are times that we're coming into, man. Now we got a couple more scriptures, Matthew 24 and 21 through 22. But this is, for then should be great tribulation, such as was not said to be afterwards at the time, no, never shall be. And Yahweh Shemashai is starting to kick things to a whole another gear. Things are going to continue to pick up. Things are going to continue to get worse. There is no remedy that will fix America, that will save Babylon. This place will be brought down. And you're seeing the downfall as we speak. But you're going to see these things continue to pick up. Things continue to get worse. And you're going to have these devils, once again, as we're in Revelation 12, come down with that great wrath. By 8, verse 22, the Lord is going to defend and protect his men. And except the days shall be shortened, this flesh be saved, but for elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. The Lord is hastening those days for his men, his elect. It's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. Now, says this, now also in the last days, perilous times shall come. And when you go to the word perilous, it goes into the word troublesome, dark, scary. Let's see if we can get the couple of these definitions. Dangerous, hazardous, risky, unsafe, treacherous, critical, desperate, in danger, difficult times, man. And you're gonna have a lot of our people, cracking that pressure as they did, back in 2020. So now imagine when it especially comes to the MOTB, you're gonna have them instant, bend of the knee. Now we got a couple more, and that's be on that. So I believe I think I saw a video on YouTube going to this article, that I just went into in the beginning of the lesson. And we want to make a quick lesson going into it because this is obviously may pick up, and this could be once again going back to the title, the next big one, as Esau Edom has really been alluding to. Matthew 24 and 3 through 8. Now it says, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples come to him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be a sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Now it's going to list off all those signs that we would see, the things that would take place before our Lord Yahushua would return. And now also when it says the end of the world right here, it's not speaking the whole end of the entire earth, but speaking of an end of an age. But verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said to him, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I'm anointed, and shall deceive many. Be careful and wary of who you are listening to, and especially in these last days, you're seeing a lot of these false prophets are being brought to light, being exposed for who they really are, and who they are really serving, man. You know, a lot of you are not for Yahweh Bashim Shah. They're not for the awakening of the elect. They're not trying to get out of here. They're trying to keep you here. This week in Malachi 3:18, discern between who serves the Most High and who serves the not. And it should be crystal clear by now, man. Verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. All seeing builds up, dealing with the conflict, the tensions. See, you've been at trouble, for all these things must come to pass, but it is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And these are things that we are seeing. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. And we see the LT version go to the beginning of those birth pains, man. And as we get closer to that deliverance, those birth pains are going to be, at its highest, at its peak. Now, this first is 5:3. Now, so for when there shall say peace and safety, you already know how this devil does when these things come about. He starts to do damage control and, say nothing's going to happen. Things are all fine and dandy. And then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Especially when it comes to that concoction, you'll be fine. It's for your safety, for your health, this and that. And you're going to have people be deceived. Now, second Ezra 16:19-22. Now it says, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, judgment. But for all these things they shall not turn away from the wickedness, or turn from the wickedness, nor be always mindful of their scourges. Verse 21, main point, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. People will think that everything's all fine and dandy now, that nothing's really happening, that nothing's going to touch America. And as we also read 1 Thessalonians 5:3, but diving back to the point right here, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. As we read a few articles going to this pestilence already within a lot of these animals, within the food, and things are starting to heat up, things are happening. But it's Habakkuk 2:3, and I believe you got one more scripture, and we'll close it out right there. But this is, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but then shall speak and not lie, that would tarry, wait for it, because it surely come, it will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. And we're in those appointed times as written and spoken of in the scriptures. So showing you how close we are to the end of this place, man. The Lord's getting ready to turn things up to a whole other level. Going to show when you're in the end. Ephesians 5:15-16 close out with this. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Be careful and wary, especially with the times that we're in, especially with everything this devil's going to do. Verse 16, but you have many of our people that's going to crack on that pressure, that's going to take the bait, take the so-called easy way out. Because what's in these devils are going to tighten that grip. They're going to implement restrictions, mandates, laws, whatever the case may be, in order to try to force your hand, to try to make you waver in the faith. But hey, stand strong, remain faithful, and endure. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So that's really only right there. Just make a quick lesson going to this couple articles, and I was trying to be careful on certain words, because once you know how this stuff is when it comes to these things. But Lord's will, I was still able to get the point across and tie these points together best of my ability. I do want to close out and give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bashim Shah, Bashim Kakadash, the ones, the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us true, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. Shalom. See you next one. Lord's will.